And welcome to GameFace SFNL Div 1 Netball Show. How have you been, Hugh?
I've been okay. Hey, we got a new table.
I know, how exciting.
Yes, the GameFace card table. Thank you very much to the GameFace tea room for lending us their table. And you know what, Mac?
What?
After doing this for half a season, they're finally giving us ruddy shirts.
I know.
How good's that?
How exciting.
We actually feel part of the company now.
So this week we're looking at a few top stories. We have Morty Alec back in business, Dingley win the top of the table clash, and a ripping under the bus segment. And Hugh, who can we thank for the show?
Us two. Oh no, we have sponsors. We have sponsors. Bendigo Bank, Caulfield Park, Swiv's Locker, and 1111 Fitness. And thank you very much to all of those.
And we're going to jump straight into the round 8 recap. And our first game was the grand final game for last season. And that is Caulfield versus Morty Alec.
And it ended up the same way as well. Morty Alec, few players back from their best side. They really started to show a bit of form, and that's something that's got a few other sides a little bit concerned. But Caulfield, well, undermanned, a few of their best out, and it really was one-way traffic for a lot of that game. So Morty Alec fairly easily. But how that's going to affect the rest of the season, well, who knows?
Yeah, and it sounds like Morty Alec took the report card hard from last week, so maybe that was the kick they needed to get going.
Yeah, well, I've been really taken to task about that by a few of the Morty Alec girls, and okay, fair enough, they weren't happy, but improve your form over the second half of the season. Be quite happy to change the grade.
And that final score was Caulfield 30, Morty Alec 51. Our next game is Cheltenham 53, defeated Oakley District 49.
Ripping game of netball, this one.
Yeah.
Really good game of netball. Cheltenham started very, very well. Took a handy lead to half time, but Oakley really came out firing in the third quarter. Took a narrow lead to the three-quarter time break, but in a goal-for-goal last quarter, it was Cheltenham that got the break laid on and weren't going to be denied. So that's a very good win for the Cheltenham girls. It shows that they can win the close games against good sides, so they'll really take heart from that.
Yeah, and obviously it looks like Cheltenham's benefited from the week off and obviously getting their full side back on court. And our final game was Heatherton 37, defeated by Dingley 58. So another big blowout there for Dingley and the top of the table clash.
Who challenges Dingley? This is going to be the big question for the second half of the season. Heatherton, again, were a little bit weaker than what they normally would be. A couple of their big players out, but Dingley really took it to Heatherton right from the jump and were too good, let's be honest. And so 21 goal win maybe doesn't do Heatherton a lot of justice, but Dingley were easily the superior.
Yeah, and it just shows how polished they are. And we obviously had St Paul's there with the bye. And looking at the ladder after round 8, it's very interesting to see that Morty Alec has taken out 4th position there. So we have Dingley on 28 points, Heatherton on 20, Oakley District 16, Morty Alec and Cheltenham 12, Caulfield 8 and St Paul's yet to have a win. So very interesting to see Morty Alec back up there, and interesting to see how far ahead of the pack Dingley is at the moment.
Now, I don't know how you feel about this, Mac, but Oakley is starting to look a little bit vulnerable to me.
Yeah.
They're not defending as well as what you might think that they would. Interesting to see that they've got the third worst defence in the league and only 3 goals ahead of the the bottom two in terms of defensive record. But look, they're really going to have to work on their hunger and getting their hunger back for the second half of the season, because it doesn't look like it's there.
Yeah, and I guess that's a challenge to Oakley. So a very interesting point there, but it looks like Dingley and Heatherton have nearly cemented their spots in the top two, and the other positions are still up for grabs. Now, Hugh, we're throwing to your favourite segment.
Under the bus, and I have got a bus and a half this week. Now, I'm told that there is a particular tree that is growing very, very steadily around the Dingley Courts car park.
Right.
Could well be that it's been very well fertilised towards the end of last season by a certain player, club we won't mention.
Oh, surely we can mention the club.
Surely you think we can mention Dingley?
It was
Okay, we'll
Dingley.
mention Dingley. Division of player we won't mention because I don't know, to be honest. But somebody needed to go pretty quickly just before a final last year, and the tree hasn't looked back since. So that's the start. Now, also from Dingley, very, very fine defender in their side, Kirsty Clark. Mm-hmm. But Dingley are wondering whether Kirsty actually plays in the SFNL anymore.
Right.
Well, she did her ankle just after Interleague, and she hasn't been seen since. So is it Kirsty Interleague only Clark?
Maybe it is.
Right.
Interesting there.
Maybe it is. Now, Springvale District's had a fundraiser to raise money for cancer recently. And plenty of interesting things happened. Nathan, the umpire, was at the Springvale fundraiser, and he was looking resplendent in a very sharp pair of pink high heels. And I am told he walked in those high heels better than most of the actual players did. So Nathan, when you're not umpiring, I think we've got a fair idea what you're doing in your spare time. In that particular fundraiser, Debbie from Springvale Districts won plenty of accolades for her celebrations after winning the beer pong tournament. So well done there, Deb. And finally, in terms, as we're mentioning fundraisers and ladies' days and what have you, St Paul's had their ladies' day on Saturday. And my sources tell me that a certain Zoe Lithgow might have been in line for the 3 votes for best in the room on that day. Or was it worst in the room? Well, we don't know.
Oh, and what was their theme, Hugh?
Theme was all good in the jungle.
And I believe Zoe might have been wearing a tail.
She might have been wearing a tail, and that gets your votes on its own. But there was a lot of leopard skin, apparently, at St Paul's on Saturday. So
I think you mean leopard print.
Leopard print.
Not skin, but we'll take it.
Well, you never know these days, do you? But leopard print. And so they had a great day, the St Paul's girls. The Mordialec $5,000 draw day yesterday, the girls were comparatively well behaved. So that's not good enough for the under the bus segment girls. We want to hear some. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, and remember, if you have something for us, make sure you let us know via the GameFace SFNL Netball Facebook group. So it's great to have some funny stories going on there. And our topic of the week last week, which Hugh was actually the topic of the week from a couple of weeks ago because someone forgot to put the post online.
Should we mention that it was Will Hunter that forgot?
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Okay.
And so that was regarding SFNL bringing in the live scores with the use of the GameFace app. And it was amazing to see the results with 76 people saying yes. And 1 person saying no. So really interesting there to see that there's the hunger there to drive the growth in our netball publicity and also how versatile we can be with the use of GameFace. So something we could hopefully see in the future.
We were very lucky as well that we conducted that poll on the Facebook site, Mac, because I don't think Will Hunter can count to 76.
You really just want to throw Will under the bus. That segment's been and gone, okay?
Okay, okay.
And this week we want to get your thoughts on who is going to be the premiership favourite at the halfway point of the year. And remember to just jump onto the GameFace SFNL Netball group to vote for which team you think will win the flag in Division 1.
And are you putting a vote in for Caulfield, Mac?
I think I'll have to go with my head here and not my heart. I don't think, unfortunately, that Caulfield are going to climb up the ranks of the ladder. Unfortunately. What about you? You going to throw Morty up for the flag there?
I'm certainly more confident about their chances than I was a couple of weeks ago.
That's not a clear yes or no.
No, it's not.
Well, I need one. Yes or no?
At this stage, if I was picking it, I would pick Dingley.
All right, there we go. I think I would also pick Dingley. So I think that's a no for Morty Alec winning the flag there from Hugh in a very diplomatic way.
And that will get me even more strife
Well,
for the
you've
Morty
just
Alec
thrown
girls,
me
but
under
there
the
we
bus
go.
with Caulfield, so might as well do the same with you.
Okay, fair enough.
And moving forward, we're going to look at our round 9 tips. But before we do that, from last week, Hugh, you've pinned one back and you've got the 3 from 3, and I was in a bit of poor form with 2 from 3. So interesting to see there. And our leaderboard is 18 out of 24 for myself, and you followed closely on 17.
So watch your back, Mac. I'm coming.
No, better. So our first game that we're going to look at is Dingley v Caulfield, and as we've said, Dingley's been in fine form, so it'll be really interesting to see how this game folds out. I think Dingley's just going to be too good, and unfortunately I'm going to have to back Dingley here.
Too much being expected from too few at Caulfield at the moment. Dingley for me.
Yeah. Our next game is Morty Alec v Heatherton, and a really interesting game here with Heatherton coming off the back of a loss, and Morty Alec closely coming off a really solid win. So I think this will impact how Heatherton go into the game, but I think Morty Alec has more of a drive now since the week off.
Heatherton will be smarting after the loss to Dingley. Morty Alec will have gained a lot of confidence by the win over Caulfield. A lot depends on Beth Wilson for me. How she not only shoots herself but sets up their goal circle. I don't think Heatherton have got enough guns to beat Morty Alec at the moment. Morty Alec for me.
Yeah, and I'm also going to back Morty Alec there. I just think Heatherton's hasn't been as united in the last couple of games that we'd like to see. And our final one is St Paul's v Cheltenham. Obviously, St Paul's coming back from another bye and really hungry for a win. And Cheltenham are looking to keep their steady form up. But I'm going to tip Cheltenham here.
Yes, I'm with Cheltenham. I think they're just a little bit too good for St Paul's at the moment. They really put in a very dogged performance against Oakley. They answered every challenge. They really showed in that game that they want to play finals for me. And I don't think St Paul's will quite be able to counter that this week.
Yeah, and obviously there we have Oakley District with a bye. And that brings us to a wrap for this week's show. But make sure you jump into the comments and let us know what you want to see moving forward. And we'd really love some feedback on what's working and what you think could make the show even better. We'd like to have a massive thank you to our sponsors, Bendigo Bank, Caulfield Park, 1111 Fitness and Swifts Locker. And Hugh, remember,
get your game face on. Clear.